Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Computer Literacy 101 course. Today we're going to talk about computer ports. We're going to be talking about those little holes that you put things on your computer. So you know your speakers, keyboards, mouse, even sometimes things like graphics cards. If that catches your attention, stay tuned. So before we start talking about these individual ports and connectors, I want to talk about what's going to happen in trends with current computer and technology, software and hardware. So the universal compatibility thing. So right now we have Apple, Androids, we have computer stuff like, your serial connections and we don't have serial connections anymore, but your universal serial, which is USB. So we got different plugs and different ports, and that's a lot of stuff to keep up with. And it kind of sucks that we can't interconnect things and have the same port for everything. Well, that's where all of this is going to change soon. So with the internet and networking becoming more faster and accessible, we're going to see that technology is going to shift and we're going to offer service as a platform. So that's like Adobe, Photoshop, Creative Cloud. I don't know if you guys heard of that. But so is Microsoft 365. So now your applications and most of your computing is going to be running on servers on the cloud. So our gaming computers are also somewhere in the near future are going to run on the cloud. So a lot of things are going to change and things won't stay the same for too long. So definitely make sure that you're able to keep up with that technology, especially if you're going to have a job that's related to this technology. So now we're going to talk about USB ports. USB ports. What does USB stand for? Universal Serial Bus. So it used to be that back in the day when I was a younger guy, when I was actually a little boy, we had serial connectors, and that's what we connected printers, some networking devices. They were all managed through serial connections, and those were analog. They were analog little connections that you would connect to computer, to printer, or maybe sometimes even machines. Like now that I work in a manufacturing plant, I actually see machines that use serial connections, and these are legacy. And serial connections are legacy. They're not really used anymore. So legacy, what does legacy mean? It's just a nice term for saying, hey, that technology is old. So you don't really want to say old. We want to be as nice as possible as IT professionals or just professionals in general. So USB is the industry standard. So this is what we're going to be using from now on. So industry standard means that these are open protocols. So any manufacturer such as HP, Corsair, Dell, Compaq, well, Compaq is HP now, but you know what I'm saying. Any manufacturer can make these devices and they can all work with each other. So if Dell makes a USB and you put it on an Acer computer, it's still going to be able to work. So these technologies are universal, so they can work with each other without any problem or hiccup. It used to be when USB first came out, we needed to have special drivers so these devices can talk to each other. But now everything is pretty open and they can talk and communicate with each other pretty fine without any major issue. Some devices, like for example, I have this Corsair headset and it's wireless. It's not Bluetooth wireless. It uses an RF signal. I do have some software so it tells lights to light up and what color and whatnot. So special devices like that may need some drivers, but for the most part, most modern OSs do include drivers for mass storage USB devices like hard disk drives. So it does establish a protocols for multi-vendor support, as I said, and it is evolving. It used to be that we had this connector, which is a basic square USB connector, which, by the way, you have to be careful when you plug this in because it only fits us from a certain direction. If you ever take a look at it and try to jam a USB stick into a port and you just break something, you're like, why did it do that? I thought it was universal and it fits on either side. No, it's not. USB-C is reversible, so it doesn't matter what side you plug it in, it's going to work. And most modern Android phones are using USB-C. Apple's proprietary lightning cable does work the same way, but it's not as cool as this little bad boy right here. So I did pull up this little diagram from a Chinese website, and this is pretty much how it works. And this is the female end, and this is the male end. So it's reversible, so you could flip it over on the other side and it will plug, but unfortunately the old school one you cannot do it. So it's popular. So these are just little side notes. It was the most popular non-network file sharing uh, media. So if you wanted to share files, or still to this day, we kind of do it by network now since we have Dropbox and OneDrive. But it used to be that, hey, I need to send so and so a file and they're right next to me. We would do it with USB drives. USB drives actually replaced floppy media. I don't know if you remember those magnetic floppy disks, and CD media. Most laptops don't have CD players anymore. Isn't that crazy? And speaking about proprietary technology, we're going to talk about Thunderbolt, which is the brand name of hardware interface that was created by Intel and Apple, the most proprietary people in the world. Well, proprietary corporations. So, Thunderbolt provides power, carries multiple protocols, so it will allow you to, do Ethernet connections and video connections, power. It's just amazing. It does a lot of things. And this is where we're going to see a lot of the devices just plug in through one little interface, which is Thunderbolt or USB-C. Because if I don't know if you see, it looks strangely familiar because it's USB-C. I'm horrible at drawing. Anyways, so it replaced FireWire. So this was a open standard, as you can see. IEEE stands for Open Standards. So it's replaced. It's Thunderbolt and it's proprietary. So you will only see it in Apple devices, but technically you can still see it outside in USB 3. I mean USB-C. And our next connection slash port is going to be Ethernet. So it provides network connections to networking devices, so your switches, your home routers, your all-in-ones. So everything's that's network related, that's gonna connect you to the internet or a network that is isolated, is gonna be these bad boys. So I don't know if you ever try to hook up your own internet. If you have had the pleasure to do so, you must be familiar with these things. And these things, if they snap, they just kind of give you an unstable connection, don't they? So they're twisted pair technology, so it's pretty much the same way your phone lines work, except you have multiple little copper wires, and they're twisted. So there's a there's a lot of technology behind this, but if you're interested, you could check out my future networking course that I will drop. So stay tuned for that. But aside my shameless promotion, it has a release clip, which is this. So you need to make sure you press on these little clips before you disconnect this, or else you're going to have a bad time. And we have category 5 up to category 6 cable, and there's even more different flavors of Ethernet cables that can be discussed in more advanced networking courses. But for now, we're going to carry on to the next slide before my voice fades. So the PS2 port, and it's not PlayStation 2. It actually stands for something else that I don't want to read because it's legacy technology and it's been replaced by the USB. Yep, it's everything's being replaced. Technology's moving fast and we got to keep up. So it's a traditional connection to keyboard and mouse. So if you have an old school computer laying around somewhere, you might remember these or you might see these. So this is where we plug in our mouse and keyboard. Sometimes we have an all-in-one, which is kind of a purple and green, and you have like a little single connection that splits into the mouse and keyboard. You don't see those around much anymore, so I don't even know if I need to cover this, but in case you need to, here it goes. Take a screenshot, look at it. And last but not least, actually it's not last, but definitely not least, it's the auxiliary port. So pretty much all your audio needs for any, probably going to be your desktop, because laptops nowadays they just have one audio port and that's just for headphones if you're lucky. I'm looking at Apple. So colors, let's go over colors. So the pink color is going to be for your microphone. So if you have a port in the front, you're going to notice that it might be pink probably, or will have a microphone symbol. It's pretty self-explanatory. There's not much I can go over, but it is using the standard 3.5 millimeter. So that's pretty much any head jack. I don't know if you have like a, for if you're a non-Apple person, you're gonna have those old school, universal 3.5 millimeter jack. So that's pretty much what it uses. But instead of connecting to headphones, it connects to microphone. So you have the light blue. Don't really need to know this, but it's an line level audio output. So it kind of daisy chains over. So lets you transmit audio signal. And the lime color, which is just green. I don't know why they put lime in here, and I got this from Wikipedia if anybody wants to know. It's an arrow going out to one side of a circle to into a wave. So that's pretty much what you're going to connect to your speakers. So either speakers or headphones, it works. A lot of people don't know this, but you can connect headphones on that as well as speakers. You'd be surprised. It's pretty self-explanatory, but some people don't know. But hey, it's not, don't be ashamed if you didn't know. Now you know. That's why we're taking this course. And my favorite, because it seems to me that anybody in Best Buy will not be able to tell you this, but yet they'll want to sell you something and, crap out some statistic or facts. But if you're going to buy a TV, now you know. HDMI and VGA and display ports are all popular video ports and cables. So this is old school. This is kind of it's pretty much a serial port. I'll explain more later. So I'm going to go backwards. So VGA is the oldest of the video ports and can be considered legacy nowadays. Definitely legacy. So let's go scribble this out. Most computers are going to use DisplayPort or HDMI now. So DisplayPort, it's the digital video source like HDMI. So it's going to be pretty much like HDMI. Don't be like me and try to force this one into an HDMI. I was working and it was very hot in this environment that I was working, and I just wanted to get the video to work, and I was forcing this into a HDMI port. You don't want to do this because they're definitely different, so keep an eye out. And they have like a little DP logo. Go to Wikipedia and look up DisplayPort so you know what the logo looks like. And HDMI, it's everybody's favorite. If you plug something, if you like to plug your PlayStation up to your TV or anything else, more than likely you're going to be using an HDMI port, which is this. And they come in different flavors. So you have your standard right here. Look at this. This is HDMI. I hope the scribbles don't distract you, but actually let's go ahead and clear those scribbles because it's very distracting and I want to make sure that you guys get all the proper information that you need. So this is HDMI. It's actual a very symmetrical fit. DisplayPort is not symmetrical because it's kind of like this, and HDMI is symmetrical. So just remember that. You have dual link, so it's not used in any products. This is pretty much experimental, I believe. And more pins probably means more bandwidth. You have the mini, which is a smaller. DP also has a mini, and you have micro, which used to be popular in a lot of phones that you could just hook up to your TV. Not so popular right now, and this is a automotive connection system. It's definitely not gonna be one of the musts that you have to know. It's probably more of like a niche environment. So let's not pay attention to this if we're gonna be IT professionals or just gonna work in an office. So definitely last but not least, we gotta pay our respects to the old technology, which is what? Legacy. And it's serial ports. A lot of machines, manufacturing machines, you will find that still use serial ports because we don't replace manufacturing machines as fast as we do computers. Because manufacturing machines usually cost thousands and thousands of dollars, sometimes even millions. So robotic arms, robotic routers, stuff like that, they use serial connections. They're still used by older printers. I used to work at a multi-million. Oh wow, wow, wow. I just heard my microphone talk to me telling me that it's gonna die. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wrap this up real quick. So they're still used. So for example, this serial connection, I saw it on a printer that was connected to an adapter that connected it to the internet. So definitely you're probably still gonna encounter them on very rare occasions. You know, a multi-million dollar company didn't replace this old printer that it would cost them like $40 to replace, but you know, sometimes you just got to deal with things and you got to learn. So don't get surprised if you see this. Networking equipment uses serial connection. So if you're working on a Cisco device, you're definitely going to see this serial port. It's just going to be this one right here. So don't mind this one. So this one is for Cisco. So it's going to be on your console port. And like I said, industrial machinery still uses serial connections. I found that out not too long ago. So I'm going to end it there. And if you have any questions or are curious about this, always look at Wikipedia or just ask us questions. All right. Thank you so much, you guys, for bearing with me on this quick and rushed tutorial slash educational video. So if you want to learn more, go to VELAIT.net, subscribe for our course. It's actually really cool. It's a nice resource that I'm working on. And yes, I made this website by myself with a couple of little code grabs here and there. So definitely check it out. As you can see, I have the basic hardware up and I will be dropping videos here, and we'll look at this. You get text. So I'm definitely going to add more stuff here and there. Uh, I'm going to add more courses, and I'm definitely going to try to be more active. It's kind of hard with a full-time job and trying to do a lot of things. So thank you so much again for watching this. Subscribe that thing on, you see the little subscribe button on YouTube? Press that because I'm going to be launching these videos more often. Have a good day.